Hi, I'm just sharing this. Polls. Okay. As of May 16, 2017. Look, apparently Conservatives are 48% ahead. You know, they're ahead in the polls by nearly 20%. Okay. Conservatives continue to enjoy a comfortable lead in the polls over Labour ahead of June's general election. This is a fucking lie. This is a lie. And be prepared for yet another rigged election. Okay? Because that's why they've chosen summer. Because they can get away with the postal votes. That's where they're doing it. A lot of these Tories have second, third, fourth, even fifth homes. They live all over the world. They've got homes all over the world. They can get 5 votes or more, a lot of them. Okay? They can vote in different constituencies because there's nobody cross-checking. Okay? There's 50,000 homes in London that are rarely lived in because they're second homes of rich people who are mostly Conservatives. So this is a fucking lie. Because I tell you now, a woman who's that far ahead in the polls would not be hiding from the local people and press and media wherever she goes. She would not be refusing to answer questions. Because they're a pack of liars. And I tell you now, if she gets in, it's time to revolt in Britain. If they get in again, it's time to revolt. Because that is not an election. It will be another rigged election. And the last election was rigged. We have the evidence to support lawful suspicion. There are people who got no votes. And they know they voted for themselves. They know that other people voted for them. Oh, but apparently they got no votes. What happened to their votes then? Why weren't they counted? What happened to the 200,000 vote slips that got stolen with a ban? Who is cross-referencing the postal votes to see who's living where? Who's checking the people who've got second, third and fourth homes? Who are voting from abroad? Who is checking them? And we are going to get that little bastard cow in again, aren't we? Now. In April's poll, 61% of people said Mrs May would make the most capable PM, as opposed to 23% who picked Mr Corbyn. What? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. It's a pack of lies. Okay, I do not believe that 63% of the British population support her. And she can't even face the local press. In blooming places like Cornwall, where you know, the Conservatives have got quite a strong seat. She can't even face the local press there. And we're being told that she's got a 63%. She's enjoying a comfortable lead in the polls. You pack of pissing liars. Okay, I don't know where they went to get the results for these polls. What, did they go to Lloyd's of London or somewhere? It is, you know, no matter what people vote, I tell you now, it really is a waste of time even attending the polls. I mean, I predicted that Brexit was going to happen as soon as David Cameron announced that they were going to scrap our human rights. Okay, as soon as he announced that, I knew we were going to be out of the EU. Before he'd even mentioned a referendum, I knew we were going to be out of the EU. One, you can't remain in the EU unless you're prepared to support human rights. Okay? So as soon as he announced the referendum, I knew that was going to be fixed again. They lied to people. Oh, we're going to get 350 million a week for our NHS, they said. But have we got 350 million a week for our NHS? No, we fucking well haven't. Is immigration going to stop? No, because now they're going to open the floodgates for the Commonwealth. And it's not, you know, I'm not against immigration personally. I feel that we should have freedom of movement. And also that the people that are being brought into the country as refugees need integration. And the communities where they're going to be housed need integration. And what they do is they create racism by, you know, they did it in Sheffield. They built a brand new housing estate with the most beautiful, lovely houses. Okay, and all the people living on that run-down council estate were hoping that they'd get a chance to move into those lovely, beautiful houses. And what happened? Instead, they moved a load of Somali people into them. Somali refugees into all of them, the whole estate. Brand new, beautiful estate. And then there was upset and opposition from the local people, and, you know, black and white people alike who lived on that estate were attacking the Somali refugees. Now, it's not the Somali people's fault for being refugees in this world. But it is the way that this country accommodates refugees. And they do it in a nasty, vindictive way so as to cause jealousy and hatred. Because why build a brand new housing estate with really lovely houses, and meanwhile all the native people of Britain are living in run-down, shoddy council houses over 50, 60, 70 years old, and instead they move in a load of refugees into the brand new houses and even give them huge grants for furniture, cars, you fucking name it, they got it. And of course people are going to be upset. The British people of all ethnicities are going to be upset. And that's why they do it. That's why they do these things. But it isn't the refugees and the immigrants we should be upset about, should we? Why are these people having to flee from their countries? Ronald Bernard, he explains it all. That it is all these wars are orchestrated by the same bankers that are running our country. Our country is their throne. And it always bloody has been. And instead of people getting together and standing by each other, you know, they divide us. But there's no divisions for them at the top. None whatsoever. The divisions are just for us. And they keep us divided by political strategies. Okay? And this is a lie. It's a lie. I was reading one newspaper report the other day about Theresa May, and you should have seen the comments. I think I found 2 comments in her favour out of 60 odd, and I'm being told that she's 63% ahead in the polls. And this was a paper, which one was it? I think it was the Independent. I can't find the link now. And we're being told she's 63% ahead in the polls. And actually Labour's seats are going to go even further down because they've got Corbyn. I mean, personally, you know, I've called Corbyn Mr. Wishy-Washy. Because really, I believe that any Labour MP worth the salt would have walked out of Parliament the moment that British people, the disabled and sick, were being driven to early death and suicide and suffering all their income. Stopped. And these fuckers still sat in Parliament. I'm sorry, there are times when you need to put your foot down and say no is no. And if these people really were supporting the working classes, then they would have done something. And that is the reason why I've not voted since Kinnock. Because I feel that they're all, you know, wolves in sheep's clothing. But you know, this year I am seriously considering breaking my vow never to vote for any of these corrupt politicians. Never to put my vote for any of them. I did vote in the referendum. I voted to remain in the EU, not because I love the EU, not because I don't think it's thoroughly corrupt like every power structure on this planet, but at least it upholds some semblance of justice, at least it upholds our human rights, at least they do have child protection directives, at least we were able to benefit from subsidised food and workers' rights, and all of it gone now, all of it gone, because instead we were all persuaded, apparently, that, you know, immigrants were going to destroy our country. And it's not immigrants that are destroying our country, okay? That's the fact. It's not immigrants. People say, oh, well, they're nicking our jobs, these illegal immigrants. They're binging our jobs. Are they? Who's giving them the jobs? Who's giving them the jobs? British employers. Well, nobody says a word about them, do they? No, no, let's all focus on the victims. The victims of this world. Now, my friend, John Paterson, absolutely brilliant guy, okay, he shared this Facebook post today. Did you know they have invented a drug that dumbs people down for hours at a time and is guaranteed to turn you into a half-baked moron and a consumer of trash? But who would partake in such a dangerous drug? Try looking in the mirror. It's called television. Don't forget to pay your TV licence. We have mass murderers, money launderers and paedophiles to protect, you stupid fucking morons. Wake up. Most of you are too fucking scared to share this post in case you might upset a few of your friends. If you don't like my post, then go suck George Sorros' arsehole and get the fuck out of here. Otherwise I might not be so polite next time, lol. And a message to newcomers. Prepare to have the biggest shock of your life. Prepare! I'll leave you the links. Gordon Bowden, okay? British RAF guy. He explains very clearly that he's got the evidence, he's got the goods on David Cameron stealing hundreds of billions from British people, from our pensions, from everything, everyone, businesses, using fake companies that they gave fake AAA ratings to. A AAA rating is supposed to be a solid investment. This is Gordon Bowden.
So you probably find you'll get in about, oh, I don't know, June.
Yeah, most like.
This is Gordon Bowden. But you know, people like John Paterson, Angela Power Disney, another wonderful, lovely lady. Ordinary British people. They're not asking for money. They're not standing for political power. They're standing for truth and justice. And they're trying to do something. But oh, everybody gets really upset because he used the word fuck. Really, people who are being fucked in every way possible are offended by the word. But it is time now that people start standing together. It's time that we lose the divisions. I will leave you the link. I'm going to leave it under every video I make from now on. Ronald Bernard's disclosure, his confession about what it was like working at the highest echelons of finance in this world. He explains how all the terrorist groups are all managed by the same few people. They're all funded and financed by them. How they keep everybody divided, but them themselves at the top are not divided. Something people like John Paterson, myself and many other people have been saying for a very, very long time, but we're called mad. Well, now we have a witness and Ronald Bernard is telling the truth. And what was the point? that he decided, well, that caused his deep freeze to malfunction, because he'd been told that he needs to put his conscience in the deep freeze at -100, okay? And he describes, he said, my deep freeze started to malfunction, my deep freeze malfunctioned when it came to being taken further up to the higher echelons and being asked to participate in ritual child slaughter, stroke, inverted commas, sacrifice. And that's where he stepped out, and in fact his body shut down. And he was on life support, because he just could not take part in that. And that is where the British conscience is empathy, compassion, intelligence. It's in the deep freeze, okay? That's where it is. That's what TV does to you. Turns you into a half-baked moron, consumer of trash, okay? And this is the kind of trash you will consume. You will believe it when they tell you that the Conservatives are heading the polls, even though out of 20 people you know, only one of them might voice support for her. Even though what you know, but you'll believe these fuckers, won't you? And their lies. Well, I tell you now, if these get in again, it is time to revolt. By lawful rebellion. Refuse to pay your council tax, refuse to pay your TV licence, let them arrest all of us. Lay down your tools. Take part in a national strike. For the sake of our rights, our human rights, because these bastards do want to scrap our human rights. And the global corporations can't wait for it, because as soon as your human rights are scrapped, expect to be working in a factory prison. And that's why people like myself and John Paterson, okay, and so many others are getting angry now. Okay? We are calling you stupid fucking morons. Because that is what Britain is at the moment. It's a stupid fucking moron that's been fed on trash. Every kind of trash. From material trash to intellectual. And we're supposed to just ignore it all, aren't we? We're supposed to ignore the truth. We can ignore Gordon Bowden. Instead, we've got full support for Theresa May, haven't we? A woman who can't even face her own constituents. Okay? And she's ahead in the polls. Fucking liars. Liars, liars, liars. And it's very, very serious. It's serious what's happening. Our planet is at risk. Our children's future is on the line here. And that's why people like John and myself, we are getting angry. Because our passion is a counter to the deep freeze, to the fact that the British public's conscience is in the deep freeze. And we will get hotter and hotter and hotter until your deep freeze malfunctions.